What's going on, everyone? So if you guys didn't know, if you look on my Twitter last night, somebody has been using an illegal advertising on my account, making my stats for the last month and a half or two. I knew something was off. Yeah, how scumbaggish of a third-party publisher, but I just reported them. So yeah, we're definitely going to get down to that. But let's get to these stats, though. We just keep on pushing through over here. You know how the haters are. Like I said, they're always hating. So we got some Famitsu sales here to see where Sony has gotten since they did that ridiculous PlayStation 5 price drop to compete with Nintendo. And Kirby Air Rider's coming right in here, physical, almost selling 200,000 copies in Japan. So digital and physical in Japan is pretty much even, right? So it's probably about 400,000. Now, if you think about what's going to be going on worldwide, this game is already at like probably 1.5 million, and it'll probably hit 2.5 to 3 million before the end of the year with Christmas. Oh yeah, already. It's Nintendo games, right? Like I've been telling people, they're going to be dominating. Mario Kart World already has 2.2 million physical in Japan. Legends is 1.271 physical. I mean, we just see them tearing up the charts. Oh, that's for Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch 2, 798,000. Oh boy. Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy. Nintendo sweeping, even though Sony did their price drop. But they're sweeping the software charts. You see, this is what I say about, we're going to get to the PlayStation sales here in a second. This is what I say about, like, when you compare to Nintendo to Sony, like, if you want to play that game, though, both are great and both are winning in their own way. Obviously, Nintendo won the whole thing, though. Is that you need to compare the totality of publishing and development, not just hardware. And when you see that combination together with the metas and the sales, good lord. Yeah, Nintendo's like perfection. So going down here to take a look at some stats, Nintendo sold 130,000 Switch 2s. This is what I'm talking about. We're going to get to this in a second. 12,486 Switch OLEDs and almost 11,000 Switch Lites and 6,000 regular Switches. So you got to think. That's 40,000, 52, 53,000, almost 160,000 Switches. PlayStation 5 sold 23,000 to give them that boost that helps them out almost, and this is in the holidays. Did 11,000 Pros. So they're at about 34,000 here, 35, 36, almost 37,000 compared to Nintendo's 160,000. If you looked at NA sales or in Europe like you usually do, and you say, PlayStation 5 just sold 160,000, Xbox just sold like 30,000, you're getting absolutely destroyed. They're times fiving you, you know what I mean? You wanna know why? Because Nintendo drops their games and Japan sees that totality of games to consistently play in handheld mode. And dock too, they do that sometimes too. But it just gives you this idea of, yeah, Sony, that does help boost your numbers compared to what it was before, but you're still going to get destroyed. And that their remedy right now to compete with Nintendo is to have insane monopoly and insane deals constantly running in Europe. Outside of that, you're not beating them in NA either, and they're not going to obviously drop the price because it's a new console. But this just gives you the idea that I was trying to tell people, that it's too late to think you're ever going to be able to do that. Like that's ended after the PS2 era. And even then, like, the only thing that can help you out is your PlayStation 6 handheld or whatever. But even then, it's going to be so expensive. Japan is about entry level. And Nintendo's going to have that Switch Lite there. They're going to keep it cheap like that. And they're going to have the Switch OLED, which they're going to support. Now, what Sony probably might have to do is like try to make a Japanese-only PS6 handheld. You see what I mean? To kind of say, man, it can't be that expensive in Japan. We can't do that. But yeah, I think that once again, they're going to have to copy Nintendo to even be able to boost and be relevant in their hometown, which they kind of abandoned and let Jim Ryan get leadership to where he's done some damage, where it's like they cut off Japanese communication. I don't know if you guys knew about that when those reports came in, when they were doing that gas rush method. They cut off communication with Japan, their hometown, and they were doing gas rush. But Western gas rush, Western focus. Sony's success has been, in a way, back then, though they're kind of trying to get back to Japan, they kind of sold out a bit to the West and definitely to Europe, big time, with Jim Ryan getting too much control of that helm. Sean Layden didn't like it. Shuhei Yoshida didn't like it. A lot of people didn't. So obviously he had to go. Those California Firings you saw, they had to go. And now we got Nishino up in there, and he's doing a better job. I'm not saying that I don't like the direction the PlayStation is going now since those guys got in there. They kind of see a lot better, and they know it needs to be done from not only a business standpoint, but from an ethical standpoint, and from a standpoint of understanding the balance of the East and the West, the Southeast Asia, the Japanese games balance with the Western games. And Sony needs to realize that balance has always been important. So yeah, trying to get Japan back from Nintendo, no. It's not like you never dominated it anyways. There was times when Sony did have that, but Nintendo was always dominant in Japan. And then Sega had a little bit of dominance there. But looking at these numbers, oh boy, like I said, no. And yeah, congratulations to the Kirby Air Riders team. And yeah, and Nintendo's just, like I said, these numbers you would think to see in Western society were like, damn. So going down here, it says, Jesus, Nintendo Land. Yeah, dude. I mean, you can't do anything about that. And as I told you before, when you think about the decisions that Japan is making, they have the highest IQ by average. So they're not making a mistake on what they ignore. They completely ignore Call of Duty, which is a smart move. You're trying to get things balanced a little bit over here. And you look at what they support, it gives you the idea of how to cater to that audience. Obviously, they know how to cater to the land over here. Everybody loves their games. I'm looking forward to Dustbloods too. That's going to be amazing. Kirby is a monster in Japan. They love Sakurai too. I mean, he shows a lot of love to them. I am largely misinformed. When does the cheaper PS5 sales come in? That's actually funny they asked that. Awesome for Kirby. This seems great for Air Riders. They started this week. That should include the first few days of sales. Yeah, it did. It's already in effect, dude. Only $23K for a PS5 digital version. Damn, you see people saying, man, you know, like, I really thought that started already. Or that didn't start. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, no. It's there. It's just that Japan wants some games. You know what I mean? And when they're looking at all these games, it's like, you're catering to Western society. You know what I mean? You're not catering to the entire world. What's the thing about Nintendo? When they make a game, it's for the entire world. That's why they have that even balance across that. And that's what I was trying to tell people about, like Sony, like all their games, like when you think about it, Last of Us, Horizon, Uncharted, Spider-Man, these are all Western games, you know what I mean? Cater to Europe and to America. Not that you shouldn't make those games and those games are bad or anything. Yeah, we all love those games, but they kind of have like a certain pattern to them where when you look underneath the formula, it's the same thing over and over again, with a little side character coming in, with telling you about all these little puzzle hints, trying to hold your hand with this little movie rush narrative. And once you beat the game, it's kind of over with because you kind of had your movie experience. Unless you're playing something like Returnal or you're looking at something like Sorrows, that looks amazing. You know what I mean? And I platinum all those games. I enjoy all those games. But I'm saying Sony doesn't really have a balance with Western development and Japanese development. Astrobot was a start, you know what I mean? But when you saw the receptivity, it's like, yeah, because you didn't build that. You built up everyone to focus on that, and your audience was mainly Western and first and foremost European. Because when you go take a look at their largest install base, it's in Europe, not even in America. And I have to say that's kind of a problem. Then when you look at Japan, there's like this big slope where it slides way down in sales. And you're like, what the hell? But when you look at Nintendo, you're like, damn, sometimes Japan is higher. Their hometown, they took care of their hometown. They never abandoned it. It's higher than Europe and higher than NA, though it's not too far from that. Sometimes those can get a little bit ahead of Japan, but you see that equilibrium. But not only in hardware sales, but in also software combining with it. It's like Gabe Newell said, you know what I mean? He never said anything about Sony. No, Gabe Newell said something about Nintendo. Is jealous of Nintendo's ability. This statement that he made, I don't know if you guys seen it. It was a statement that Gabe Newell made, where it was about he's jealous of Nintendo's ability, or expressed that the company has been a little bit jealous of Nintendo's ability to develop hardware and software in tandem. He knows that they have that perfection. He highlighted that when Nintendo Shigeru Miyamoto designs a new game like Zelda or Mario, he simultaneously considers the controller's design, the graphics capability, and other hardware features, allowing for innovation such as motion input because the company controls both aspects. This integrates approaches enables Nintendo to create hardware that is optimally designed to take full advantage of its software. There's a full unity there. You know what I mean? A capability Newell acknowledged Valve has long admired. That made him want to design the Steam Deck. That made him want to go with the Steam machine and to have this sync and have the controller that can design. You see what I mean? Yeah, and then you see the GameCube that people are talking about. Newell stated that this envy has motivated Valve to develop its own expertise in hardware design. That's what I tell people. You have what you have because of Nintendo. I don't make this stuff up. I've been telling you the truth. Aiming to achieve the same synergy between software and hardware in future projects. This shift became evident when Valve announced it was returning to game development, with Artifact being the first title in a new wave of games, signaling a strategic move to leverage its growing in-house hardware capabilities. Says that the company is jealous of Nintendo's ability. Like this stuff has been there. These guys, I'm telling you, when Nintendo does something, the entire world watches them. When Zelda drops, everybody looks at that peak. What can I do to help my game out? Like, you know, all the jumping templates, all the flying templates, the wall jump, that all comes from Nintendo. And you've played so many games that have those foundations in it. You can't avoid it. You know what I mean? This is called respecting the master, respecting the roots that makes you get all these other aspects. And I see people come in here grifting. I'm like, what are you grifting for against them? You have everything you have because of them. And I just respect the roots. It's not because I love them the most. It's because it is very true. And then when you have the guy that runs the PC gaming world, that has the biggest platform in the PC game world, coming out and telling you that, what are you going to say? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, everybody's looking to them. Everybody's not looking to Sony. Even though I know a lot of people like Sony, and they say, what about Nintendo? I was like, but yeah, you still don't know what you're talking about. Look what happened with the Switch. It's the greatest console design of all time. Combining handheld and combining console together. And then combining the totality of software with that too, saying that you could do a PC, you could do, you know, Joy-Cons, you can make it into a controller. Like, dude, I'm telling you, they're the best. And they lead and they sell the most. I already showed you guys Nintendo sales. They're absolutely insane when you go look at Switch 1 software. When you look at Wii software numbers, when you look at DS, I mean, I'm telling you, it's incomparable. And that is the totality, and that is them leading with their own games on their own device. You ain't coming to dominate Nintendo's device. No, I'm leading my own platform. You see what I mean? And I'm outselling all you when you're trying to get those type of sales on all platforms and last-gen platforms, and you still ain't reaching my numbers. Dude, I'm telling you, like, it's that exclusive identity. It's that unbreakable bond. It's that light together that you cannot defeat in the end. And they've been doing it for such a long time that it's in-game time, and they're running the show. Again, as I told people, it's going to happen. You got these people talking about Wii U numbers and all that. I said, man, you don't know what you're talking about. AGN's going to prophesize for you. And I've been doing this for a while. And I've been telling people the same thing with the Switch 1, and they didn't want to believe me. Said they made a mistake with the Wii U. They're never going to make that mistake again. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like Sony made the mistake with Vita. Do you think they're going to make that mistake again? I don't think so. So that's kind of what I want to talk about here. Why they're leading, why they should continue to lead, because it makes everybody better, and why people follow suit and copy them. Microsoft tried it with the Kinect. Sony did it with the Wii Move. Microsoft done it in a lot of other areas as well too, but that's not bad though. And then, you know, people have done it with the mod kart racers. We know that, right? Sony tried to get their own Smash Brothers. They want their own kart racing, Crash Team Racing, Sonic Team Racing. They're all copying Nintendo. I'm telling you, every time you see all these games, same thing with Genshin Impact. Look at how that blew up off of Breath of the Wild. Just keep watching and you will see. All right, AG is spitting the truth here. Once again, like, comment, subscribe, guys. Let me know what you think. Later. Peace out. Have a great day. Accept the truth.